Hi everyone. So for today's poem, we're going to do things a little bit differently, and you'll see how in a second. But just like before, we're going to read a poem together. I'll read it, and then you can repeat each line after me, and then I'll read it again, and you can follow along if you want, or just listen to me read it. But the poem is a little bit different because it has words that are part of the at family. So you'll notice that this poem is called The Fat Cat, and those words both end in at. So you will be seeing quite a few words in this poem that also end in at. Okay, so while I'm reading, I want you to think about which words you see or hear that end in at sound. Okay, so I'm going to read it, then you can repeat each line after me. So the fat cat. I had a cat who was so fat he could not even sit on his mat. He had a hat that did not fit. He put it on and then it split. Okay, so now I'm going to read the poem again. You can read along with me if you'd like, or just listen. The Fat Cat. I had a cat who was so fat he could not even sit on his mat. He had a hat that did not fit. He put it on and then it split. Okay, so first of all, I want you to see which words you can find in this poem that end in at. So you can write them down if you'd like, or you can just point to them. And this time I'm not going to show you what I have written down because I would like to see what you have done by yourself after this, okay? So when you're done following along and doing uh, the parts that I ask you to do, then you can take a picture of your work and what you've done while following along, and I would love to see it. Okay, so how many words did you find that end in at? Now, the words that end in at, do they also rhyme with each other? They do, right? Because look, I'll give you an example. Here we have, what word is this? Cat. And what word is this? Fat. Cat and fat both rhyme, right? The only thing that changes is the beginning letter. So all of the words that end in at rhyme with each other. Okay, so your next job is here. Now, because you're working at home and you don't have this actual paper, you're going to be doing things in a little bit different way, and I'll explain that in a minute. So we already did this part. Maybe you wrote them down, maybe you just pointed to them, that's okay. But this says list 4 of the at words you found in the poem. So we're going to move on to this one. It says real or nonsense. Now here it says color the boxes that have real at words in them, but we're not going to be doing that. What I would like you to do though is to try to read all of these words. Some of them are real words, some of them are nonsense words. So let's do an example together. What's this word? At. Jat. Is that a real word? I don't think so. It's not. What about lat? No, lat's not a real word either. So what I'd like you to do is read all of the words and write down which words are real words. So let's do one more. rat. Rat's a real word, so you would write down rat. Then you would keep going until you wrote down every real word that is here. And then when you're done that, you're going to count. How many real words did you find? So you're just going to be doing this on a blank piece of paper. It could be in your literacy booklet if you'd like. Okay. And then, as a bonus, what I would like you to do is, let's look back at this poem, and you are going to read this poem by yourself. And if you can't read it by yourself, you're going to read it with an adult or with a brother or sister that can read with you. And then I would like you to draw a picture of what you visualize or what you see in your head when you read this poem. So think about what happens in this poem. So let's read it again together. The Fat Cat. I had a cat who was so fat, he could not even sit on his mat. Oh, so that tells me something about the poem. What might the cat look like that you draw? What else might you draw in the poem? He could not even sit on his mat, right? So maybe you'll draw a cat that can't fit on the mat because he's too fat. The next part of the poem says, he had a hat that did not fit. He put it on and then it split. So what might you draw or add to your poem there? So this poem tells us lots of different things about the cat. So I want to see your picture of what you visualize when you read this poem. And then that's it. Then you can take a picture of everything that you wrote down while following along. So take a picture of all of the at words that you found in the poem, and then take a picture of the real at words that you found here, and how many real words you found. So then count them all up. And then as a bonus, take a picture of your picture that you drew of what you think the poem would look like. Okay, so I can't wait to see your work. I know you're all super creative, so I can't wait to see your drawings of this poem. Hope you have fun. Bye.